Good. So I'm going to introduce our next act. You've all been brilliant so far. I want you to clap and cheer and go wild. So are you ready to meet our second act of the second half? Would you please welcome to the stage Dana Galili?
Great, thank you. I am a neuroscientist. I I study the behavior of fruit flies. But really, what I really do, I make flies fuck. That's what I do for a living, and I get paid for that. That's even better than your job. Now, it's a bit awkward. When I speak to my family, I have to make things up because they sent me to school, they expect something important, and I'm a neuroscientist, and they would ask, what do you do in the lab the whole day? And I have to say, I do something very important like cure Parkinson, or, you know what's funny about Parkinson? Nothing. But what I really do is I work on fly sacks. Now, imagine that I'm in the lab after a long day, I'm sitting in my office, it's getting dark, starts raining outside, so what do? I put on my favorite fly pornography movie. And I start watching, and it's getting interesting. They're over with the small talk, and look at that ring. Ooh, I get excited, right? And then a colleague enters the room, and I have to immediately switch the computer screen to Facebook or anything less embarrassing. I wasn't working. But really, I think that fly sex can actually teach us a few important things on life. So I decided to embrace my research topic. Now, I've always been interested in the film industry, so I decided to bring my film passion back into the lab. And right now, I am filming, directing, and recording fly pornography. Let me show you, give you a few tips from watching endless hours of interaction. You might learn something useful. When a male fly approaches a female, he will do the sexiest thing that a male can ever do. He would vibrate one wing like that. Sexy, huh? You might want to try that at home. And then he will approach the female and tap her gently. Now, if it's a sexy male and the female approves of him, she would gently curl her back and let magic happen. I'm not going to show you that. You all have seen fly porn before, I'm sure. You know what I mean. But if the female is not interested, like, oh, honey, not today, I have a headache, I'm not in the mood, she would do the simplest thing a female can ever do. She would simply kick him in the face. So it's a dangerous business being a male fly. Now, the whole process takes about 3 minutes from the introduction until they get going. So imagine that as a guy. You walk into a pub, right? It's crowded, it's full of nice girls, you got a beer, and you find a girl that you fancy, that one with the red dress and the big eyes. You approach to her, you vibrate your wing. 3 minutes later, you're in the toilet. That's it. So you can get very lucky. Alternatively, you can get kicked in your face. So you have to weigh your odds. Now, talking about alcohol, a paper published a few years ago showed that flies, male flies that are sexually frustrated, turn into drinking more alcohol. Really. So alcohol, says science, is the appropriate alternative to relationship. Is this a surprise to anybody in the room? Now, I like to spice things up in my movie industry. I like to put 2 males with 1 female and see how that goes. You all seen these types of movies, huh? So when you put 2 males and 1 female, the males will immediately start fighting and beating each other up, trying to show to the female who is the better male, has bigger wings, better car, smaller iPhone, whatever is impressive to females nowadays. And females, as we all know, are very sexually aroused by violence, right? Aren't we all? So the moment the one male is winning, he will take the female, and they would immediately start doing it right next to the body of the loser male. That is pretty grotesque. And I have to watch all that. That's my job, right? So sometimes I feel a bit like a pervert sitting next to my computer, looking on obviously very intimate, very private interactions, you know. How would I feel if some giant insect would sit in my bedroom telling me what I'm doing wrong in bed? Who put you in charge, right? But the female role in the whole business is rather limited, as the fly, I mean. So the only way you could tell if a female fly is interested in sex is if she stops. So the moment a female fly stops running away and escaping from the male and pauses just for one moment, that's it, the male will immediately jump. So imagine that. As a girl, you walked on the road, you know, on Mill Road, looking on the charity shops. Oh, that's a nice dress. And then you realize your shoelace is open. So you bend over to tie it. Bang, there's a man behind you. It's a very dangerous business being a fly. And I don't make it easy for them. I put them in these tiny chambers where they will have to eventually stop. And then the males, you know, male flies are always interested in sex. They will never say no. They will never say, oh, you're not my type. I prefer your sister. Or girls who study biology are too geeky. No, male flies will always say yes. Male flies will actually have sex with decapitated females. Yeah, that's pretty gory. But I mean, seriously, you know, try to think about it, guys. If you could spend the night with a woman without a head, she doesn't speak. She will not complain. Just body, right? So that's how male flies are, very low standards. But a female, on the other hand, she has a bit more of a standard. So a female fly might say no. Why? Why would a female fly say no to sex? Is she waiting? Is she saving herself for after the wedding? Does she just want to hold hands and remember her and talk about her childhood? I remember back in the days when I was a stage 4 larva. I used to crawl in my own crap and eat it. My parents, they never really cared for me. No, the reason a female might refuse sex is if she just had sex with some other fly. So, yeah. They're very loyal. So that's why I have to make sure that the females I cast for my porn movies are all virgins. So the name of the first full-feature movie that I released was called Collecting Virgins. Then later, I also released Flying Low, which was a huge success, and Peel Your Banana. You can all find them now on the best website online. Now, the reason I like science is because I like to pretend that I'm God. This is true for everybody. If you ask all the scientists around here, they might tell you, we want to save the world, we want to change lives. This is bullshit. We all want to pretend that we're God. So I like to confuse a male fly to think that he's with a female when he's actually with another male. Yeah. I do that by exchanging genes from male to female and so on. We have all these biology tricks. And so I put the male with another male, and he would go, approach the male and go, how are you doing, babe? Hey, you want to try a piece of this? And the other male would be like, what the fuck? You want to try a piece of this? And the first male would be like, what's going on here? What the heck? Who are you? Did I just, oh no, did we just, oh no, nobody should ever know. This never happened. But even funnier is confusing two males to believe that they are with a female and put them together. They would go, oh, your wing is so big. No, your wing is so big. Oh, you're so sweet. No, you're so sweet. Oh, where did you get these shoes? Oh, you noticed they're new? Of course I noticed. And they can go on like that forever. Really, I've watched them. It doesn't go farther than that, but not that I've seen. Maybe, huh? And if you throw in a female to that party, she would be as useless as a stripper in a gay club. merely decorative. She would be like, "Hi boys, I'm here." And I just stopped. Untying my shoelace right here. And they would be like, "Oh, you're so sweet." No, you're so sweet. So I think that we can really all learn a lot about real life from fly and from fly sex. For example, the name of the gene that was discovered for fly courtship was initially termed fruity. This is how politically correct scientists are. Yeah. So there is a lot that I can tell you about fly sex, and if you want to know more, please come and find me backstage. I also have a few copies of my latest released movies. If I can please have my assistant, thank you. So I brought with me our bestsellers. There's Fruity Nights. I also have with me Lay Your Eggs on Me. And my all-time favorite, The Big Hairy Proboscis. You can all find copies of later. Thank you.
Give it up one more time for Dana Galili.